Welcome to one of the most scenic roads in the world, the Atlantic Ocean Road or Atlantic Highway in Norway. I always wanted to take this majestic road, where 8 spectacular bridges span over tiny islands, where you are literally driving on the ocean for 8 kilometers. It was finished in 1989 and was named the Norwegian construction of the century. And we'll take it with the electrified Volkswagen flagship models, the VW toゥアレグe-hybrid and the toゥアレグR. Let's go! This is a super special episode. We have the VW toゥアレグe-hybrid, the plug-in hybrid version with us, the Atlantic Ocean Road or the Atlantic Highway. It's just right behind us. And also, of course, everything about this luxury SUV. Let's go! And we're also going to compare the second plug-in hybrid version, the toゥアレグR, both exterior and also in driving. A toゥアレグ 3 here in this generation, huge front grille, a lot of chrome use here in the standard e-hybrid version, and LED lamps are standard optional. We can see it right here, the matrix LED. Length at 4.88 meters or 192 inches, and wheels come from 18 to 22 inch with the toゥアレグR actually. We also have a video of the toゥアレグR, which is kind of similar. But in which way? Soon more to that. Here we have 19-inch wheels for you today. It's kind of a good compromise. Crossover wheel arches, and we have a typical toゥアレグwindow outline. It's rather conservative design, but at the same time modern enough because they've really worked on the tools here for this new generation, that you also have some kind of sharp design edges here. Do you still like it? And in the rear we have horizontally drawn tail lamps right there, also once again with the modern structure. This one gets the e-hybrid badge. The R has also the e-hybrid badge. What's about that? Soon I'll lead you to that. One disadvantage of the plug-in hybrid models is that they do not offer the rear axle steering nor the anti-tilt control because of the space in the rear to put the battery there.
Oh, and by the way, these here look fake exhaust maybe at first, but they are not. So this is a nice integration.
Changing cars and changing presenters. When Thomas told me he's going to go check out the Atlantic Ocean Road, I just had to tag along. But here we have the R, the toゥアレグR. This is also a plug-in hybrid, but as you can see, the entire front fascia is completely blacked out. You still have the 3 main slats here, but they're completely black. So is the little slat that runs diagonally along the headlamps. Instead of the e-hybrid logo at the front right, we have the R, which is the new R logo that we saw earlier. The lower part of the bumper is also blacked out, and this housing also has really glossy black. Basically, black is the name of the game for the R because as we go along the side as well, we have black mirror caps, a black frame around the window. Another thing to note is, of course, the wheels. You have these really cool 22-inch wheels, and to kind of make the toゥアレグR look more hunkered down, lower to the ground, the wheel arches are not clad in black plastic, but they are the body color. And because of the 22-inch wheels, you also have flares on the wheel arches. And blacked out roof rails as well. Towards the rear, same story, but in my opinion, this doesn't look so much more different. The front looks a lot more imposing because of all the front black on the face. Here the black is very small and subtle, just restricted to the lower part of the bumper.
You get the VW toゥアレグwith a 3-liter V6 petrol engine, 340 horsepower. Based on that one, there's the e-hybrid with 381 horsepower system output. Electric motor is kind of integrated in this 8-speed automatic converter gearbox, so it does not affect the all-wheel drive system. 40% in front, 60% in the rear is the base setup here. 6.3 seconds is the acceleration figure. 14 kilowatt hours, the battery kind of small for that size.
Here in the Touareg R, while it is fundamentally the same powertrain, it's in a different state of tune. So this makes 462 horsepower, that's about 80 horsepower more, and because of that, it can go in 5.1 seconds, which is about a whole second faster. The four-wheel drive system and the suspension are the same.
And recharging, maximum of 7.2 kilowatt, so 2.5 hours of 0 to 100 if you can reach that charging power at home or something, or at a public station. Car key, pretty light, and yeah, high gloss black that might catch scratches and stuff. Door closing sound, really solid, love that. At the same time, we have also the option here for a soft close. The interior is quite luxurious, and we have nice wooden insert right here, matte wood, and also here towards the center cockpit. This is what I really love about this more, luxurious traditional design. With the R on the other hand, we have a perforated steering wheel, and we also have this more, aluminum look tech design, a sporty appearance, but here I think the wood fits a little better to the Touareg, doesn't it? Earlier you could get the seats also with fabric, but in most markets it's not available anymore, especially not for the higher trims. So that's definitely a let off. They should improve that, also offer alternatives. However, the ergonomics of the seat is really fantastic. You sit upright, have king of the road driving experience, and is definitely seating wise one of the most comfortable SUVs. And with 1.86, 6 with 1, here like this to the side, still enough headroom. This one here, of course, the one with panoramic roof, giving us the best panoramic shots for this Atlantic Ocean road. The e-hybrid always comes with the InnoVision cockpit, means 12-inch digital instrument left, 15-inch infotainment system on the right, and yeah, I mean, that's a quite impressive appearance, definitely, and also once again lovely integrated, and also here with the ambient lighting, that's a very nice integration. At the steering wheel, capacitive buttons, they look cool. Yeah, but definitely harder to control while driving. Digital instruments with map all over the place, or you can also change it like this and also change the inside contents. Head-up display, not too big, but still helpful. Come closer to the screen. Here we go. That's actually very interesting. It's not the easiest software. You have here the temperature control right there. It always stays in that place, and also here, for example, for the seat heating and so on. But meanwhile, we've seen even more complicated systems, definitely. And here, this is our Atlantic Ocean road in Norway. This is like, I mean, look at that. It literally goes through the ocean. What a beautiful piece. You've always seen some of the pictures, and you can see here, this is like really literally on the coast of Norway. If I put it on north up, this is where we are. Here, that's Norway. There we go. Then you know actually where we are. So you see, it can be a little bit more responsive, the whole system, definitely. This is like always a main menu button there, and you see it takes sometimes a little bit of time. And the Apple CarPlay integration, let's take a look at, there it is. Yeah, there it is. That looks a little bit weird, doesn't it? However, it has actually a decent sound system. There we go. Woo! The audio sound system. That gives us a bass boost. Driving mode selector here, for example, for sporty mode or also for off-road modes. Again, we also have a separate off-road video of the Touareg. And then it might also play a role that here you can also change the height of the air suspension. It's also one of the vehicles that is most comfortable in the rear because you also sit upright, have a lot of legroom, even tall people, and also a lot of variation possible with a movable bench, for example. Trunk, it's actually still quite practical. See here, good dimensions. The plug-in hybrid versions are, see here, a little bit higher. So you lose a little bit in height and you cannot lift anything. That's the only downside. Other than that, very well usable. And you can also fold the seats from here as a manual switch like this, and then we can load all the way through. However, you have to push it down first like this and then to really fix it. So now it begins. Hashtag movie quote, tell me what it is. Welcome here to a special driving part on the Atlanterhavsvegen. So the Atlantic Ocean Road or the Atlantic Highway, one of the most scenic roads in the world. here with the Touareg e-hybrid V6 plus the plug-in electric drive. So, wow. This already starts amazing, full of bridges, such a scenic road ahead, and we give, of course, some driving impressions here of the Touareg. And wow, I mean, this is so beautiful, so many bridges ahead now. Here the V6, by the way, 3-liter V6 petrol engine, that's where it's based on, 340 horsepower. And here in the plug-in hybrid drivetrain, the e-hybrid, 381. In the R, it would be 462. It is a little bit slower than the R in here, of course, in the acceleration figure. Still, you have the combined boost if you like it. However, most of the time with the Touareg, because it's such a relaxing vehicle, soft air suspension, it's just very, very comfortable to drive it. And that really suits also here to cruise this ocean road. See a lot of the rock, by the way, here. Definitely this, the solid rock surface. It's also a very interesting aspect, by the way, why they don't have too many problems with rising sea level, because when the when the ice is kind of melting, it lifts whole Scandinavia up again, so they don't have the same climate change problems, from other regions with the kind of like literally drowning. And now you can also see the map. That's why we mounted the map here. How we are literally driving through the Atlantic Ocean. I mean, look at these views there ahead. Wow. So with the electric drive, you only get about 40 kilometers or 25 miles. That's not that much. It's actually not enough, we think. So the battery should probably be larger for that. It's for daily commuting or something, for short ways. That's okay. Other than that, not really that well usable. However, inside the city, you can then be locally emission-free. That's the big advantage of that. Otherwise, you could also still live with a pure petrol engine. You still have the nice 3-liter V6 under the hood, and you also have this, like more sonorous sound and stuff. That's actually pretty cool. And of course, you have combined both drivetrains to have a better acceleration than in that case. Wow, first bridge. That is so amazing. I always wanted to drive this road here. So next to the Transfiguration and the Highway number 1, for example, and some of the Alpine mountain passes, definitely one of the favorite roads here to visit overall. We can drop a little bit in speed and then show the combined acceleration a little bit more, and also listen to the sound. So I can also go to the sports mode. That's just the way just the shifting is applied. The other possibility would be to pick the driving modes here and go to sports mode. Then you also get the S shifting mode, but everything else, also the air suspension is set a little bit stiffer, and here we can go like 40 kilometers to 80. Let's see how that one turns out. Plop, that's it. That was already 85, and yeah, we have to be really controlled now, because all our viewers from Norway know traffic control is really strict here, and you either pay a couple of €1,000 or go directly 3 days to jail when you exceed it. So we better don't try that. I just say AJ was driving then. Yeah, it's always good to have a passenger on board. Yeah, but you see, you have good acceleration when you need it, and you have also this electric boost, so you really got a nice punch, nice kick in there. So that was a nice acceleration. The R does deliver you a better acceleration experience. Yes, if you're more interested into the R or want to have some more changes, I told you earlier, we also have a separate review of that. Wow. Even from this camera perspective, you can see now that we are really almost on sea level. When today the weather is super nice, but often it's raining here, and the ocean is also uncontrollable sometimes, and it can really happen that there's water being spilled all over the road here, so that happens from time to time as well. Wow, what a great experience here. And we also, of course, have the other road experiences here when Highway number 1, or also the Transfiguration in Romania, and also some Alpine Pass moments. I will also gather all these episodes in the video description. So if you're more interested into scenic reviews, you could also definitely find it there. The Touareg, once again, delivers a nice steering and a super comfortable driving experience. However, what is missing is the rear axle steering, which is super useful, but in the plug-in hybrid drivetrain, they don't have space at the rear axle, nor for the anti-tilt control. You can live without the anti-tilt control. but you should have the rear axle steering for an SUV of that size to just make it easier to maneuver it around. That just delivers you a better, better experience in parking in and out, for example, and so on. Turning circle is reduced, shorter wheelbase is being faked, and so on. So that would be something I would still like, and I'm so much enjoying this ride here, and I hope you do too with these great impressions.
So now we are in the R, the Touareg R, with 462 horsepower, 5.1 seconds for 0 to 100 kilometers an hour or 0 to 62 miles an hour. By the way, in pure electric, you can go up to 140 kilometers per hour. That's about 90. I'm interested in what it can do in the sport mode, and more importantly, how it compares to the standard Touareg hybrid. So first of all, the engine sound isn't that great, either in the R or in the standard. While it's acceptable and understandable in the standard plug-in hybrid, I was kind of hopeful that the engine sound would be much nicer here in the R. When I think of Volkswagen R, I think of the Golf R and that raspy, naughty 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo and the burbling sound and the spitting, and I want some excitement. And that's not here. And this brings me to how I was telling Thomas what I kind of envision this Touareg as. To me, it seems like a father's car. It's a bit too dignified to make all those farty sounds, even if it's an R. It's big, but it's humble. It's powerful, but it's silent. And it's just so comfortable. The seats are so luxurious and wide and soft and supple. I just feel myself sinking further and further, and I can't tell where I stop and the seat begins after a point of time. And the steering is meaty, but it's not very direct. Even in the sport mode in the R, you can see that I'm wiggling this and I really don't feel anything at all. The car isn't really moving much. So the steering isn't so direct. The suspension isn't very different. Of course, it is adjustable so that it's a little bit more taut. But again, if you're buying a Touareg R, you don't expect it to be like a super sporty SUV. It's a little bit more powerful. So if that's the case, is this extra power really making a big difference? Well, the short answer is not really. Because of that electric boost with the plug-in hybrid, the electric motor, and since it's driving the same drivetrain with that four-wheel drive, it's not like there's an extra motor on one axle. No, it's part of the drivetrain. It's part of the powertrain that's all integrated. It's kind of giving you that boost, and that boost is most prominent in the first 0 to 30 kilometers per hour. That's where that instant torque from the electric motor makes a big difference. And with the standard plug-in hybrid, you get that anyway. So what you're really getting with the Touareg R is bragging rights that you have a Touareg R with 462 horsepower, and the really nice cosmetic visual package, which, to be honest, I prefer.
Look at that. It looks even better on the way back, right?
It looks even better, and now the sun is going down. These clouds are just gorgeous. There's a tinge of orange and purple. It really feels like I'm driving straight to heaven. Stairway to heaven, hashtag stairway to heaven, am I right? I just love how this bridge climbs and then bends midair and dips back down. I think that's what makes this really special. And yeah, even though this might not be a sporty SUV, it's a gorgeous car to drive on this gorgeous road because it's letting me enjoy this incredible biblical scenery. It is truly breathtaking. It also scores high on practicality. Like, I really love the dual sun visors that you get on the Touareg, but it misses out on certain things like the glove box is criminally small. And of course, it's not as big as the Q7, but it is still fairly bulky. I did drive this when it was launched in some small towns in Austria, and there I really found the rear axle steering that the diesel version that I was driving back then had made a huge difference. And I'm sure for the R, it would have helped make the SUV feel a little bit more agile if it did have that. But of course, like Thomas was saying earlier, because of all the gubbins for the plug-in hybrid drivetrain and the battery, there's no more space for any of that stuff. So ultimately, who is the Touareg R for? It's for the person who doesn't mind spending extra money to get a little bit of extra power, and basically for the way the R looks.
If you want to see more of the Touareg R, there's a separate video to that, click on that one. Or also this silver one, we took actually the pure petrol engine off-road in Morocco. You should also tune into this episode. A lot of content about the Touareg.